Alright, hi, this is Andrew here. I'm just going to play some Ironman difficulty, deck 14 power relay grid. Pretty early in the game, so you don't have a lot of requisition. The level ups that I made for my squad were to raise my captain's ranged ability. Want to keep enemies at a distance this early in Ironman. I also leveled my Overwatch for Dallin and power field for my engineer. Again, banking on avoidance of damage, keeping enemies at a distance, using my defensive abilities to the best of my what I can bring in. You can see I have a mod in place, so my captain is a funny blue color. And here we go. I'm just going to play as quickly as I can. And the goal of this play session is to kind of show off how you can play the game in a turtle style. So to beat this level without just blitzing it as fast as you can. Now that said, I'm still going to make smart tactical decisions as often as I can. So that includes doing things like running for the tack point and also heading for the first two nodes as quickly as I can get to them before a bunch of enemies pile onto the board. So we got first turn down, pretty straightforward, and we are now moving on to what we want to do here. You can see all the different locations. Some of them are pretty spread out, and what we're hoping to do is to put in a bit of a defensive border around the attack point and hold that as our center point. We should be able to get 6 total Templars onto the field in order to press from there. Now, unfortunately, this first power node was not a winner and it has blown up, and I'll make a run for the second one. I'm pretty close. I haven't seen the spawning happen yet on this level, but I'm betting that we've got an issue over here in the corner. And hold on a sec, I gotta talk to my dog. She's getting a little mad. Puppy, give it a rest. Okay, first turn here, so now I can bring in, I have any veterans? I should have recruited somebody earlier, but I'm going to bring in another soldier, as the goal is to really hold this area. So we can already see we've got a problem here with the pipes. We've got an enemy coming through. Overwatch, that's pretty gnarly looking. Hunter already has a lot of HP. Managed to get to my second tack point on the second turn here. Oh, bad news though. Also damaged. So maybe that'll weigh out in the long run. Maybe for the best, because we're running out of. You hope the rest of them go well. The first two went badly. Here we go. We got a soldier holding this spawning point now. That is going to be clearly a thorn in our side in this idea of kind of turtling up and holding back the enemy. Okay, that one survived. We're going to have to work together to basically make sure that we don't let enemies get through. Unfortunately, alright, sorry, I had to take a momentary break there. Rushing my captain for the third power node, and I got my fingers crossed that we can get a good. Wow, it's gonna blow. Oh, the worst possible luck here. Okay, but that's Ironman. Isn't very forgiving, so captain's headed back to the main area. We've got soldier who is praying for better luck. Yes, finally the first one to actually work. Now, everywhere we go, Overwatch is going to be a critical part of this turtling strategy. I got a scout here. That is a guy chasing me already. I'm just going to run. I'm moving pretty fast. Scout up here, see if there's more of them. Okay, that doesn't look too bad. Right now, we've got a pretty bad start. There's so many things on fire. We got guys coming in from every direction, but now that we have cleared the first 3 of these, we've got a chance to start to kind of lock down the zone. The fires will hopefully go out soon. This is going to be a constant battle of going back and forth, kind of pushing out our zone and then pulling back our zone. So you can see we've got enemies coming in. I'm going to just come one closer, drop an Overwatch here. I've got. Okay, sorry, I had to start and stop this recording a couple times because puppy who's demanding attention. My scout ran again from this alien. I'm going to let him come back to the defensive net and then worry about dealing with him. Here at the home front, I am looking to... We got 2 skitterings to deal with. And I really need to get an Overwatch up, so I'm going to take one of them, hit one of them, blast the second one with a pistol. Alright, got one down. Line of sight is blocked. Run right up in his face. And let's see what my average 60% chance to hit did not pay off. Thankfully, I've got some heavy armor. Early days for this. Okay. Funny thing, I'm just noticing now that my captain, I put all of his talent points into shooting a gun, but somehow at the same time I managed to equip him with a sword and a shield. So he's not using his new talent points at all. And I'm holding down the fort here. I've got, looks like one of the power relay grids on that I need. I'll try to take out that guy at range, and maybe can't get into the second one. I'm going to start just trying to hold ground here. Again, the goal of this is to sort of show a turtling up mentality as opposed to a rushing mentality. These are Templars. They are elite strike fighters. They are not intended to be on the ground for a long time. Their suits overheat. They're susceptible to damage. They need time to repair. All sorts of things like that mean that this is never should be a long-term engagement, but the goal here is to kind of show how you would turtle up in this level. Play it a little bit more defensively, slower. You can see my Overwatch is kicking hard right now. We've got aliens coming in from multiple vectors, but not letting any of them really get inside the guard at this moment to get hits on anybody. So to really get the best out of Overwatch, I'm going to back up again. I'm in fact thinking about pulling this defensive perimeter in a little bit. And I'm going to start now using my buffs. So I've got... can you get there? Okay. I'm going to start using some defensive buffs. Rely on the captain a bit. He's going to drop one of his buffs. I've got 6 power fields, so it's a great time to use one. My scout is going to be the strike force until I'm able to build up a little bit more strength here. I don't really want to... with only 6 Templars in the whole team, I'm not going to be able to really take a large force of Templars outside of my defensive ring. So it's going to be very important to kind of build up to be able to make these quick leaps out of the ring. That was pretty bad. The engineer missed twice. We might get into trouble here a little bit. I'm going to drop an Overwatch right in front of these two, move the engineer a little bit farther back, take care of oncoming enemy. This is a really big spawn point for me to keep under control, so I'm going to keep that locked down. The scout is already starting to overheat, which is going to cause some problems on its own. Since this hunter's already at 33 HP, an Overwatch blast should pretty much handle them, and I'm going to tag the other one so that both of them should be overwatchable. It's very nice here. We've got a big cluster of enemies. Going to chuck a grenade, manage to damage. I'm actually going to have to use either retreat or use a second grenade. At this point, I'm going to retreat. I just don't want to overextend the squad. I've got another turn maybe before I'll be able to pick up another soldier, and then we'll have a big Overwatch field locked down, and we should be able to kind of handle this better. It's very nice of the 2 hunters to get themselves in a grenade formation. There we go. Managed to slow the assault. That we took a hit to our to the tack point here. I'm gonna step up and really focus on getting these buffs posted and doing it effectively. So here I'm going with calling shots. I'm gonna hit this squad. I'm gonna drop a power field, which will hit the squad, and then we're gonna go guns blazing on these areas, and I'm gonna drop an Overwatch. Overwatch here again, holding down that spawn point. see how badly these two are damaged. 84 is still pretty strong. Gonna run the engineer this way. Gonna need some backup for the captain, and time to start looking at getting speedy again. But I don't really want to go running out of cover when there's an enemy at the gates. So, and I'm at 118, so I'm gonna leave that where we are. Captain's gonna throw a second grenade. Again, you can see I'm just kind of I'm waffling. Ouch! Hit him! Okay, back and forth. Nobody. Ow! Nasty little duel right there with me coming out a bit on the losing side. Couldn't seem to bring down that hunter. See, again, it's so important to keep that one spawn point. I've identified it from the very beginning of the level as being right in my face, right next to my attack point. It's so critical to keep that under constant watch, because you've got Xeno just pouring out of it. So I'm going to shoot him again. There aren't any other immediate threats visible. Now, Scout is going to have to start taking some risks here. We're going to just run out here. Okay. Not a risk we can take at this given moment. We pulled 2 medical ordnance, which we can use when a Templar gets damaged. I don't have anybody really in position at this given moment to back the Scout up to try to get past that hunter. So I don't, again, this is a slower defensive playthrough. I can't even get an Overwatch posted at this given moment to back the Scout up. So we're just going to slow the enemy down. Tag him twice, drop this skitterling, and I'm looking at an empty run, so captain's going to take the risk. He can be out and back in a turn. Other really good news here is that I can now, I'm up for a new soldier, so we're going to pull another soldier. This is a great spot to be within the field of fire. I've got the range. And I'm protected from the north, so I'm really happy to be able to put a soldier up there. So now I've got almost max squad on the field, and some of my risks are, well, we'll see if they pay off in a moment here. Definitely got a big crew of aliens coming in. Got a hunter. I really wish that I had remembered not to give the captain a shield. It's really a problem for me. It's not paying off right now because we've got enemy coming in from every direction. I wish the captain could deal with that hunter and make it safely to the spot. 56% chance to hit, and I need to put in 2 hits. That's why melee is really dangerous at this moment. I'm going to make a run for it. Let's just see if we can get one of these turned on. It's pretty good, and then we're going to evade. And I'm going to use my defensive buff again, defensive offensive buff, and that'll put us 58% chance to hit. It's a nice boost. And you know what, since the captain's out here and we know we're about to get thwacked by a hunter, I run out and I buff him with the armor as well. So now he's in pretty good shape, and we're going to have to do some creative switching on the Overwatch here. I need to slow both of these hunters down. So let's drop an Overwatch field. I'm going to make them run right through it to get to me. Again, if you're taking this slow, then you need to really carefully choose the moments that someone like a Scout makes a blitz for it, right? That guy has 8 HP, so I hate to come off my tower. I am going to kill him, and now I'm going to put out a Scout, a protective Overwatch for the Scout, and I'm going to move the Scout out and let Nixos sit for the turn, trying to bring that heat down a little bit, get some control over that situation, because there are 2 long runs I need to make there to reach those outer ones, and it looks like actually from trading blows, thankfully I came out with only 4 HP of damage, and I need to get I need to actually make sure that I get calling shots on these guys, because he is just missing too much and it's causing him to overheat. He's too many shots for too little damage. So I'm going to have Cranston bring up buff him, call out the shots for him, and he's going to have to Overwatch again. You want to push this defensive circle out. You want to go out as far as you can without overstretching yourself, because you can see that generally by moving the circle out like this, I'm then able to fall back when an Overwatch moment occurs and I really need to make a move. So to be able to give ground when overwatching is a really big bonus, because as you can see down here, I had 2 hunters, and over multiple turns I'm going to suppress them with my fire, and I'm just going to keep falling back a little bit, and by the time they get into the inner circle, I can't fall back, but I could fall back probably one more turn before I'd be out of space to retreat. So that gives me a lot of time, multiple turns to kill them. Now again, you'll see, yeah, definitely I'm doing way better this turn. That was no good though. I did not have Overwatch up on that spawn point, which we talked about a bunch of times, and Nightmare is gonna kill you on your own inconsistencies. So that was really my bad. I really needed to have, we talked about it, I needed Overwatch on that spot. Specifically, it's very dangerous not to be OWing it. And now you can see I'm kind of making for a bit of a scramble of a turn where I am trying to get back. Took me a while to kill that hunter who got through. I've got a lot of people firing more than I would have liked them to, and another hunter coming in under Dallin's watch. So, but we have now claimed the eastern one, so I've got 1, 2 that are good, and the scout should be able to reach third one. And if I wasn't overheated, I would be using his talent to look ahead. Like, it's very important to know, is there a hunter just around the next corner? But because I'm so overheated and I'm kind of out there, and the scout is going to probably be overheated the whole time, I'm not going to be able to kind of check that. So I'm just going to have to put up with what I've got and rely on the scout to do a lot of the running for me. I am at max squad cap now, so I've got my 3 soldiers, and I'm going to have to rely on the 2 of them to lock this area down. Again, the point of this is to show the turtle strategy in action. So, all right, I'm giving ground and putting up an Overwatch, and we're going to double down on them. I've got another soldier who can share fire there and return Overwatch. 31 HP. That soldier should be pretty easy to drop. Now, again, this is where I really wish that I had left my captain with the option, at least, of ranged fire, because I could put him up here and take care of the skittering as he comes around the bend. But I'm not going to be able to. So here we go. The scout has, Nixos has done his job for the moment, and unless he can tap that guy hard enough, he's going to just have to come home as quickly as he can. He's nicely out of range. How bad is that? We're going to drop another armor on this team, and then maybe the scout's going to go, or the engineer may need to go help the scout. So you can see I'm still sitting on my two med kits, and I've got this area that I'm successfully holding right now. Really, very little is getting through. That's pretty bad news. Oh, don't die. Okay. It is not a complete iron curtain kind of net here. Things are slipping through occasionally, but by using Overwatch, keeping the field the right size, I am able to kind of beat back anybody who's coming forward to challenge me. And I'm going to use one of those med kits now, but I don't have the AP, so I'm just going to have to go with the risk. And I really need a scout to get full turns, so I'm going to kill that skittering with my engineer, which frees up the scout for a blitz again. And again, if I wasn't overheating so badly, then I would be looking ahead of myself. And since the scout is being asked to pretty much carry it for the team because everyone else is on defensive perimeter, I'm using both of my ordinances on him, and I can't buy any of the ordinances, so that's pretty much, we got to rely on that scout to make it. Now, another big thing you've seen me do throughout the playthrough is switch sides of soldiers. So the attack vectors that the enemy are using are constantly changing. I don't have anybody coming from the southwest, so it's important to take advantage of that and bring a soldier to another side. So they've been on this kind of constant rotation around the circle, guarding different attack vectors the whole time. The one thing that's extremely constant that has not changed is that I have a soldier camped right on top of that spawn point west of the attack point. It's just too close for comfort. It is a place where it's inside the inner ring. It's way inside the distance I would like enemies to stay. And so therefore I need to forcibly just guarantee that anything coming out of that gets pegged and slowed down. Overwatch also has a pretty good record of like slowing down enemies. When they get hit, they will recalibrate their turns, so it gives you a good chance to peg them and stop them in their tracks. It often is very good at preventing that they spawn, move to you, and attack you in one turn. If you've got the spawn point on Overwatch, that almost never happens. So you can see I got a really bad draw on this level. It's probably the worst draw possible, that the first 3 power nodes that I tried to activate all went kaput. Since there is always a way to beat the level that actually guarantees that the next 2 that I go after are going to work, but it also means I have to go all the way out to the edge for both of them, which is not pleasant, and is going to put a lot of pressure on that scout to keep performing. I also need to now start being wary of my captain because he's overheating and is low on HP. As you can see, no Templar level is easy. There's always going to be forces striking against you, be it Xeno, your own overheating, can't see ahead of yourself, all sorts of problems. Scout needs to calm it down. I think I'm just going to camp for a turn and allow him to burn off heat, and going to be back in this rotation situation that I was just talking about, where I need to bring another Templar down to the southwest to be able to make this defensive stand work. This is looking gnarly. I'm going to rely on the captain to put this skittering away, and we're going to have to start to plan for, the scout is never going to make it from the top northwest to the top northeast. So it's going to be time to start planning some other extraction. I may be looking at an engineer captain kind of plan here to get up there. Now, soldiers are also top notch. You know what? Let's change the plan. It's going to be captain and soldier are going to have to go. We'll have to do this together. And again, in the heart of keeping that defensive perimeter as wide as possible, I'm going to drop an Overwatch way out here down in that trench. Soldiers are really good at offensively pushing, especially if they have a melee striker in front of them. You can deal so much damage by putting the melee striker out front. They're great at counterattack. You put an Overwatch right in front of them, and when the enemy comes in, you're going to get just what's going on right there. The captain catches both of those hits on his shield. To get to the captain, the enemy has slogged through 2 or more Overwatch shots. So here we go. We're just going to push this out and drop Overwatch there. And you can see we pretty much got the central area on lockdown at the moment. A spawn is likely to happen at any minute to mess this up again. But I'm going to run up on the tower and drop an OW there. We are going to move this OW in all the way into the spawning spot to make sure that anybody who comes out of that spot gets thwacked. And you can see that this is basically being done by some real serious discipline in the use of OW and the switch hitting of soldiers and the moving people in and out. I'm constantly like pushing my border and retracting my border and pushing my border and retracting my border to be able to get the absolute best use out of Overwatch. And kind of manipulating the routes by which the enemy are going to come at me. You can see that's coming apart a little bit. I shouldn't have gone up on that tower. It's like too far. The tower's good, but the range that it was at for this approach for enemies coming the scout's way, from the scout's way, it's just too far. I'm going to risk. Okay, we were able to take him out. That's good. I was a little worried if I didn't hit him. One of the things it's a very tough tactical decision in that second action for your soldier. What are you going to do? You could drop the Overwatch. You can shoot twice maybe and kill your enemy. Oh man, there's a spawning tower right there. Holy moly. Oh, that thing is nasty. Anyway, soldier second action is a very difficult decision sometimes because you can drop the second shot, maybe kill the target, but if you fail to kill the target, then you're left without an Overwatch field before you. Generally, my advice is to play very conservatively in that space and to put up the Overwatch field. You're going to get multiple attacks out of the Overwatch field. It feels good to kill the enemy outright. But you're way better off, unless there was a reason. I don't know why I did that, considering my advice. Unless there's a good reason, just rely on Overwatch. It will save you the time. However, if the enemy were to change paths, not go the way you thought they would, maybe they'll end up alive the next turn and you're going to be regretting it. Now, that scout is just about to blow up. Oh! Okay, well, we took a gamble that we could get all the way out there and the scout was going to run the whole show. It didn't work out for us, but luckily we are back on the trail with a captain and a soldier team. I think the best thing from here is probably going to be retreat to home because now we're less one scout, but we can just pull another one. I'm going to cap with this ability and just make a run for it. I think we're pretty close. Ironman demands some sacrifices at times, and this is definitely going to be one of them. Let me see if I can tempt this guy instead of going out to catching the team off guard. You can see my defensive perimeter is sort of it's way less tight than it was before, but I'm holding on to it pretty admirably. And it just had to do with the unfortunate nature that I had to get all the way to the far northwestern, far northeastern corners of the world. Basically, it's pretty rough ask. Oh, damn. Wow. So this is definitely what happens if you're defensive, if you're not holding it together tight enough. I'm getting some serious hits taken on my Templars. I'm playing a little more carelessly at the moment, and I don't have enough Overwatch strength at home to really bundle and protect. So that scout was silly. That thought that I would just run him as fast as I can is just generally not the right answer, I would say. Okay, so we got a 2 HP hunter here. I'm going to get around him and then strike as to not use my move points. Oh, wow. Okay, well, I died. That's Ironman. Absolutely happens. This captain is done for good. You can see that I came very close to getting there with the turtle mentality, and it was really my execution on the end of the level that cost me that run. I had done very well up to that point. I was holding the turtling strategy really well, but even at my level of play, I made some careless mistakes. Pushed the scout too hard and didn't really plan a good exit. I probably should have turtled up in that room with the soldier and the captain, but I was just trying to go a little too fast, and it cost me the entire squad and the run, unfortunately. So thanks for watching.